here we get a chance to work on our step ups. And what we're trying to do is we just want to get the knee up to the hip, right? So you when you come to these, you look for a place where, you know, okay, so that's probably a little low for me. And this one would be just about right. So I'm going to plant my foot up on top, and then I'm going to push that foot hard into the ground, and I'm going to power off with this one. So this one's what we call a midfoot strike, and this is that power or toe off. And then I just lift up high, block back, lift up high. And if you want to challenge yourself, you go for the one that's a little bit higher. So you can see here, this one's a little bit higher than my hip. So if I get up on this one, then I got to really extend a little bit more.
What if this kind of all scares me? Was something else I can do?
Well, remember the key on the steps is that you're just getting your hips up. So you can look around again, see what's available here. All right, so one of the things we got right here, good old towel again. This is lower than this, and it's flatter. So again, I can just step and work right onto this one. Get that step up.
Great. Could I maybe just do it on the ground too?
You can do it right on the ground. So instead of coming up to one of these, you know, you just get yourself spotted up and just get that lift.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. Okay. What's the body tuck thing?
What we're going to do is we get ourselves in and we allow ourselves to slide down. We want to grab hold here and we want to get a good grip. Now we don't want to be locked out with the elbow, so we have a little bit of a bend here. And then the goal is to lift the legs together and bring them up to the height that you can get, with the eventual goal being to do a full body tuck. So if you can't do the full body tuck, right, as we've been going through and assist, we could just work on bringing legs where we can. And this works real well for a lot of folks, is you bring your knees up and you get to a position where you can bring your knees up and work to bring your knees to your chest. And after a while, you'll get to where you get the knees to the chest and you can get up all the way over.
All right, great, thanks. All right, great. Well, now we're here at our third and last station before our cool downs. What do we do here?
So we're gonna do a leg raise, which is gonna work our core again. So notice there's a lot of things that we talk about when we talk about this thing they call the core, that you'll hear a lot of times. I say like midline stabilization, like we've talked before. So on this one, I'm going to sit on the bench. I'm going to get the height that works best for me. And again, a lot of this has to do with how tall you are, not necessarily just that they're harder, but they will get harder for you as you raise the height. So again, we're going to extend the legs. I'm going to grab hold of this bench, and I'm going to try not to arch and rock with my back. I'm just going to lift my legs up and over and keep all this nice and tight. I'm not grabbing on too tight here, just kind of supporting myself. And the legs go up and over.
Great. So what does this work?
So again, what happens with this, we need this all tight, and this all works together. So a lot of people just work on crunches, you know, sit-ups, and then they think they're getting their core stronger. But really, you have to include the side muscles, the obliques. You have to include all the different back muscles, many of the back muscles, which you can't isolate anyway.
All right, great, thanks. Hey, Frank, gosh, this looks like play yard equipment as a kid.
As a kid, we used to do all this stuff, and that's what's a shame is, you know, kids know how to squat naturally, they know how to lunge naturally. Love watching my grandkids just get up and down the floor. It's just incredible how easy and effortlessly they do it. And they do the right technique. So, and already, we lose that because we sit so much. We have too much sitting in our life, we're too sedentary, we don't get active enough. So this definitely, it's just like at the old playground, where we used to just run in and jump over things, and we'd run up and we'd jump up on this, and we could practice that walking down to the end, and we'd probably do some crazy things like swing and jump over it and all kinds of things. So basically that's the arm walk. You walk down, you can get off, shake it off, and you can walk back. If you want to add, you know, difficulty level to it, again, you can move yourself backwards. Okay. So there's, like, again, there's levels that you can do with this as we go along.
What if I can't even move? What do I do?
Precisely. We don't move. So what we want to do is we want to strengthen those muscles that can help us to get there. So if you can just stand in place and push yourself up and hold, that's what you do. If you're having trouble with that, then we're going to get into that jump stance that we talked about before. So now that's not the full-on squat, so the feet are closer, just inside your hips, like we're going to jump up, which is what we're going to do, and we just use our lower body muscles, all those big powerful muscles, to push ourselves up here and hold. And again, hold yourself as long as you can. And when you land midfoot strike.
Okay, Frank, what's this for?
All right, this is a power exercise. Power is what we lose first. As we get older, we get past 30, we're losing, you know, about a pound of muscle a year. It's going to go away unless we really work hard to keep it, and even work hard to keep it, you're still not going to be able to generate what you did when you're younger. But power is the first thing to go. So again, remember, squat, heels, toes back there. We did that in that in the warm up, and we talked about how we have to be able to do this, keep the shoulders in there. But now for jumping, I got to get my feet closer together, and it's a power exercise. So what that means is that I'm going to be pushing off that. The heel's going to come up, push off. My ankle extends, my knee extends, and my hip extends. That's called triple extension. And then I'm going to land. And that's important because then that's going to work the bone ends, because we want that compression. We're going to get these little micro fractures. It sounds awful, but that's what the brain will then repair during the night. If you don't do this to your body, then the brain does nothing. It just says, hey, great, thanks for not working me out too much. And then have to repair and come back. So this is how osteoporosis, this is a great one for that, because it's going to make the brain send in all the right chemical messages to repair during the evening, and the bones are going to come back thicker. That's how you make sure they come back thicker. That's why doctors now are telling people, you know, make sure you get out and exercise. And you want to do things that are going to cause the brain to do its job.
Right.
So this one is a jump exercise. So we're going to get power and we're going to get landing. You're going to see I'm going to take off that triple extension. I'm going to land, and when I land, then I'm going to power back off and go again. So the landing is important. So I want to try to land as softly as I can, and I want to get, the more height I try to get, the harder the exercise is. And again, we're going to jump over the bar. So we're going to jump, jump, jump. And
What if I'm afraid, gosh, what if I might trip on that thing?
here's the beauty of the brain. Remember, the brain doesn't know how high you're jumping, right? Remember, so I just put a line on the ground, and I don't even have to go around in the order. All I need to do is just jump over the line. Get a good line. Jump.
Wonderful, thanks. Shoo, okay, what a workout. Now, I'm ready to cool down. What do I do now?
All right, so we've got our, just a quick review. So we warmed up dynamically, which was all that movement stretching, and then we hit all the exercises that we're going to do that day in whatever order and whatever intensity and however many repetitions we wanted to go through that. We've jogged back over here to start cooling down. So the heart's going, everything's fired up, the internal chemistry is hot, ready to go. And now's the best time to do your static stretching. So that's where we're going to give the muscles a chance to get lengthened and shortened in a controlled fashion. And you can push them a little farther because they're not cold. They tear too easily. That's why we don't want to do static stretching at the beginning. You got to be warmed up first, because muscles are, they will tear. And people do get, injuries. People get injuries in, nice, easy stretching yoga classes if they go too far. So you have to be careful of that. So we're going to go through the stretches that they have on the board here and talk about those, and then we'll, I'll demonstrate a couple other things. So we have these nice different heighted bars right here so that we can kind of get a picture. You see people do this exercise a lot, so stretching, just working on that back of the leg, getting the Achilles. You want to kind of keep your heel on the ground. I like to have my knee above my ankle always as I push here, and then I just kind of sink the hips, which then makes my heel want to come up, but I'm going to force it back down, and then I just stretch. Now these you hold. We want you to breathe, in through your nose and out through your mouth. That pulls the air and the oxygen in deeper into the diaphragm, therefore making it easier for the lungs to disperse so you get more oxygen to all the parts of your body, more efficiently. Mouth breathing is inefficient, shallow, and you don't get as much oxygen. So now you notice I'm holding this. You're going to hold this for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, that type of thing. And I'm going to hold that stretch right there so that we get this kind of like what you can get when you do partner stretches, where you push and you pull against it. So now as I stretch that, I get even better stretch as I go with my heel back down. The next exercise, working on kind of the hip area, it's really good, especially if you've had, hip replacements and knee replacements. You want to get all that area stretched out. Because again, with the replacement, especially knee and hips, the joints are artificial. They're going to be nice and strong enough. So what you want to do is, what makes you more efficient, more functional, is that you strengthen the muscles around that and make sure that they're stronger by doing the exercises. And then you're going to get, at the same time, you're going to get the flexibility from doing the exercises and then doing the stretch here at the end. So on this one, we're going to get ourselves in a similar position that we saw before, but we're going to put this toe up and back now. So my toe's back up here. and I'll demonstrate. So and now what I want to do is I want to stretch these hips down. So I'm going to keep that good midline stabilization, and I'm going to sink my hips down and in. And I'm going to feel that. Now you'll feel this more up in your upper thigh as you're doing the stretch, so your thigh's getting a good stretch, and then you're getting that good hip extension right there. That'll stretch into that. And if your back is tight at all, you'll feel it in your back. So you can just kind of nice and relaxed and and feel that. Then again, I do the same. I just push back off this for a second. So I put this heel down and I push my toe back instead of pushing forward my toe. Try to put my heel back on the ground, stretch it for about 10 seconds or so. Again, just kind of count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and then I get right back into it again.
Okay, and I should do both sides, right?
You make sure you do both sides.
Okay, great, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, here I'm going to get my kind of work on my upper body, the joints there, the shoulders. Again, the shoulders, real critical, like we talked about earlier. Not enough use. So now I want to get a good stretch here. So I'm just kind of hanging. And on this one, you can kind of circle, around like such. You can work on nice, easy pulls up. So you don't want to make this too much of an exercise by trying to get too big of an angle, but just a nice, easy pull. You can go forward with it, hang this direction, muscles, together, and as you hang.
All right, great.
The toe touch exercise, old-fashioned calisthenics, is a great stretching exercise to do at the end. It's also a pretty good dynamic warm-up too. So this one kind of, doubles up. Like we talked before, some of these exercises, they talk on this board here about doing it at the beginning. We really don't want to do those. Those are the static stretches. So we want to be more dynamic. So the toe touch is kind of an in-between one because again, we're kind of moving, so we're up and we're supporting our weight and we're keeping our back nice and flat and we reach across and you'll feel this all across the back leg. Really a great stretch for the hamstring. And getting down and touching the toes, not critical. If you can only get about this far, that's what you want to do. Reaching the back, and this is really nice stretch to finish off with. Stretch, done all stretching classes. Again, we want our knees to be not locked down, but just slightly bent. And then we're going to stretch ourselves out. Remember the breathing? One of these you'll find while you're breathing, let's say right here I'm kind of comfortable at this distance, not quite to my toes yet. And so if I take a deep breath in, through my nose, and just kind of relax, you just kind of naturally tend to want to get further and closer to your toes. It'll come with the breathing. Your body will be relaxing, you're cooling down, the heart rate's going down, the muscles are starting to stretch, and that's a good way to work your way out instead of just kind of coming in here and reach out and go for the toes right away.
Okay.
You can't reach the toes. Remember, you got your chest towel around or anything you have, you can always put it over your toes, right, and then grab here.
And for those of you with back problems, this is a great exercise for the hamstrings because most people with back problems have tight hamstrings, so this is great for that.
You're going to really feel it all the way across that. Beautiful.
Okay.
Showed it to you. And again, you can do these stretches in any order. Do it the way it feels comfortable to you. And there's other exercises too. This last one's really good for balance because you're going to be standing on one foot and you want to pull your knee up and stretch. So you're going to find, how long can I stay here? You're going to start to be a little wobbly. And one of the things that we need to do as we get older is work our balance. And the reason for that is that we still have the capability of having good balance. Just because we're older, we don't have to have bad balance. We might not have the balance we did, when we were young like a kid. But our balance connections in the brain, they're just getting fuzzy because they're lack of use. So if you do balance type things, stand on one foot and work on it, it's going to increase the connection. They'll remember what they once did, and they'll go, oh yeah, okay, I remember how we did that. So this is a great exercise right here. Sometimes call it the stork, and you just pull that up nice and try to get the knee towards your chest and lean into that. Another good exercise that's not on this board kind of goes with that one, and I'd like to show you this one because this is a problem for me. Like we were talking before, there's always ways to enhance things, and that's where you reach around, grab your ankle, and you pull. Now this is great for the thigh. So you point the knee straight down and you pull the ankle toward your glutes, but we could say that. And then I do what's called the bow and arrow part off. I stretch the knee back out and I pull. Again, great balance exercise. You can hang on to something if you need to. And this is a good pushing away and then pulling in and alternating those. Now the reason I'm showing you this one, like I said, it's just there are other exercises. Pick ones that you like. But for me, this knee's a problem. Can't grab that. So like what we were saying, so that means I don't do that exercise? No, I can adjust it and I can make some, you know, I can get this so I can do it. So I use a prop, and I can find a bench, I can find a bar like this. I get my knee out here to support myself. And remember, we're gonna bring my knee as close into my foot as I can, so I'm pushing back into my foot. Now I'm stretching the front part of that thigh. And then I can do the bow and arrow by pushing up and out, and I'm pushing down with my toes toward the ground and stretching that out. And I'm getting the same stretch now, and I just can't reach back and grab that knee because it won't bend far enough yet. But the more I do this, my hope is someday I'll be able to actually reach back there and grab that too. If it doesn't happen, at least I made the effort.
That's great. And like I said, now that you've had a wonderful workout, we're all relaxed now. It's a good time to take a walk, go for a swim, and
That's why I brought that towel too.
enjoy the rest of the day.
Got my swim towel.
Hey, if you guys have any questions on any of this, you can reach us at. Thanks.